Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever wondered what it truly takes for, a tennis prodigy to climb right to the very top? I mean, beyond the flashy headlines, the big tournament wins, what's the actual journey like? Especially maybe for someone who, well, seemed destined for it, but then faced some pretty significant hurdles along the way. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the really extraordinary career of a British tennis star, someone who has genuinely defied expectations and battled through some major challenges to reach that elite status. We've got a lot of material here, a wealth of information, and we're going to sift through it to bring you the most compelling insights.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is that the material gives us this remarkably detailed snapshot of his career,
Wow.
right from his earliest beginnings up to his recent, really monumental successes. It allows us to trace a pretty clear path,
Yeah.
of development, resilience, and strategic progression. So we're not just looking at what he achieved, which is impressive enough, but maybe more importantly, how he did it and the underlying why. And that, I think, offers some invaluable lessons for understanding the huge demands of professional tennis right at the highest level.
That's exactly it. That's precisely our mission for this deep dive, right? To
Yeah.
extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from all this comprehensive material. We'll explore his formative years, his, well, undeniably huge talent, but also the formidable obstacles he overcame. And those pivotal moments, those turning points that really shaped his trajectory into the global elite. You'll walk away from this understanding not just his story, his personal journey, but maybe the broader sort of universal lessons embedded in his rise to prominence. So yeah, where does this remarkable journey really begin? Right, let's kick things off by looking at where it all started. This player, Jack Alexander Draper, born December 22, 2001 in London. It really seems like tennis was just in his DNA from day one. His upbringing in Ashtead, Surrey, well, that set the immediate stage, didn't it? But it's his family background that truly stands out as like a foundational piece of his story. You see, this wasn't just a casual interest in tennis for him. It was a really deep-rooted connection right from the start, a genuine immersion in the tennis world.
His father, Roger Draper, held these incredibly significant positions. He was the former chief executive of Sport England and, crucially, the Lawn Tennis Association, the LTA. Just think about that for a second, the implications of that. The very organizations that govern, develop, promote sports nationally. Having a father who led the LTA, that means an intimate understanding of the sports infrastructure, the pathways, the challenges, the opportunities, probably right from the dinner table. And then there's his mother, Nikki Draper. She was a former junior British tennis champion herself. So this isn't just about having supportive parents, is it? It's having parents who intimately understand the mechanics of the game, the intense physical, mental demands, the sacrifices involved, the whole emotional roller coaster of competitive tennis.
And that immediately raises a really interesting question, doesn't it? How much does having parents with such, well, profound backgrounds in tennis really influence a child's path? It's complex.
On one hand, yeah, it undeniably provides inherent advantages. I mean, just imagine the kind of exposure to top-level coaching, maybe access to elite facilities, and that invaluable understanding of the sports ecosystem that's almost impossible to replicate otherwise, right? Growing up with a father who ran the LTA, that means not just connections, but probably a strategic view of how players develop through the system. And a mother who excelled as a junior player. She'd have this intuitive grasp of the daily grind, the discipline, the pressures young athletes face. They could offer unparalleled guidance, advise on training, help navigate the often tricky competitive landscape. So that unique environment, it almost certainly nurtured his early talent. It provided a sort of sophisticated roadmap for progression.
That makes total sense, especially when you think about that blend of support and real insider insight his parents offered. But it's also worth noting it wasn't just the family. His formal education seems to have played a big part too, providing that structured development. He went to Parkside School from age 4 to 11, coached by Justin Sharing there. Then he spent 2 really crucial years at Reed School. Now, these weren't just any schools, were they? They seemed like environments where his talent could be carefully honed, nurtured.
Exactly. Structured environments.
Yeah, so it's clear, these early settings, combining that family influence with dedicated coaching and education, they played a significant role in developing and refining his raw skills. And from this early foundation, it became pretty clear the talent blossomed quickly, which led, quite naturally, to a really significant junior career. And that gave us the first concrete proof of his early promise.
And his junior career does provide that quantifiable evidence, doesn't it? That early competitive prowess on a global stage. He reached his first and actually his only junior Grand Slam final at Wimbledon, in 2018. Prestigious stuff. Now,
Right.
okay, he lost that final to Tseng Shin in 3 sets, a tough match. But just reaching a junior slam final at 16, that's a monumental achievement in itself. It's a real testament to his skill, his composure under pressure, even back then. And he finished that year, 2018, at a career-high junior ranking of world number 7. That's a clear sign of where he stood among the best young players in the world. Now, what does reaching a junior slam final at that age really signify? Is it a strong predictor of pro success? Or is it just, a marker of potential that still needs immense work, dedication, and, yeah, probably a bit of luck, too?
That's the big question, isn't it? The jump is huge.
It really is. While it absolutely shows early competitive ability and capacity to perform on the big junior stages, that transition from juniors to pros is notoriously difficult, one of the toughest leaps in sport. We've seen so many incredibly promising juniors who just don't quite make that consistent jump to the senior tour. So while it showed he had the skills, the mental game for his age group, it definitely didn't guarantee future success. What it did was lay a very strong foundation, a canvas, if you like, upon which all that further work, strategic development, and unwavering resilience still needed to be built. But that junior success, yeah, it undeniably paved the way for his professional debut. But as we often see in sports, that transition isn't always smooth sailing, especially when you're battling more than just your opponents.
Right. And here's where his professional journey starts to get really compelling and frankly quite dramatic.
Yep.
He officially turned pro in 2018, but his much-anticipated ATP Tour main draw debut that came as a wild card at the Miami Open in 2021. But it was, well, anything but a fairy tale start, was it? In his very first round match against Mikhail Kukushkin, he had this harrowing experience. He actually had to retire. He collapsed on court due to a heat-related illness.
Wow, in his debut match.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a tough start. This immediate, very public incident just instantly highlighted the brutal physical demands of the sport, especially at the top level, where conditions can be so unforgiving. And this early setback, which sadly kind of foreshadowed a career that's often been plagued by injuries, it immediately sets this tone of remarkable resilience, doesn't it? What does that kind of dramatic public physical failure mean for a young athlete just breaking through? How does that impact your mental recovery, your future approach? It's one thing to lose a match, right? But to physically collapse on court in your debut, that's a different beast entirely. It could easily breed fear, self-doubt. So it really speaks volumes about his character, I think, his profound inner strength that he managed to push past that and not let it define his early pro career.
You're absolutely right. That's a powerful point. It really highlights that the journey isn't just about talent. It's also about that incredible mental fortitude you need to overcome physical limits, bounce back from such visible adversity. And what's truly remarkable is how quickly he turned that around, turned that physical and mental setback into a real statement of intent. Just a few months later, at Queen's Club in June 2021, he secured what was, at the time, arguably the biggest win of his career. As a wild card, remember, he defeated world number 23 Jannik Sinner.
Even then, a huge rising star, now world number 1.
Exactly. So this wasn't just a win, it was a massive upset. A clear signal he could compete with and beat established top-tier pros. And he didn't stop there either. He then beat world number 39 Alexander Bublik in the next round. That propelled him to his first ATP tournament quarterfinal. He eventually lost to Cam Norrie, who actually went on to reach the final that year.
Impressive run for Norrie, too.
Definitely. And by reaching that quarterfinal stage, Draper became the youngest British ATP quarterfinalist since Andy Murray back in 2006.
That Murray comparison keeps popping up.
It does, and it immediately elevates the significance of his achievement, loudly signaling his potential. This run earned him his debut in the top 250 rankings, a crucial early aha moment, I think. It showed he wasn't just a promising junior. He could genuinely compete and win against established guys on the main tour. And doing that so soon after that really tough Miami debut, it speaks volumes about his determination, his ability to compartmentalize setbacks and just focus forward. So from these really impressive early showings, his 2022 season became a real statement of consistent intent, particularly on the Challenger Tour.
And 2022 certainly was a transformative year for him, wasn't it? He showed incredible consistency on the Challenger Tour. That's the feeder circuit, right, for the main ATP Tour.
Exactly, the proving ground.
Yeah, and he really began making his mark on the bigger stages, too. It was the year that cemented his reputation as someone you absolutely had to watch. He kicked off the year strong, winning his first Challenger title, Città 42nd, January 2022. But he didn't just win one. He followed it up with 2 more consecutive Challenger titles in 4 leagues.
3 in a row in the same place. That's dominance.
Incredible dominance.
Yeah.
And then he added a 4th at Saarbrück later in the year. Just think about the sheer consistency, the grind required to win 4 challenger titles in one season, let alone 3 back-to-back. It's a testament to sustained performance, mental strength. And these wins, they just rocketed him up the rankings. First into the top 200, then quickly to world number 162 by February, and then, crucially, he broke into the top 100. June 13th, 2022, world number 99.
Crossing that top 100 threshold is huge, psychologically and practically, for tournament entries.
Absolutely. The challenger circuit is that proving ground. It's where you build match fitness, confidence, and crucially, those ranking points you need for direct entry into the main ATP events, without leading wildcards. Winning 4 titles, especially 3 consecutively, that indicates a level of dominance few players achieve at that level. It shows not just raw talent, but that growing mental toughness, the ability to consistently perform under pressure, building confidence, building that pathway. And this momentum wasn't just on the challengers. It quickly translated into big wins against higher-ranked players and deeper runs in more prestigious tournaments.
And when we connect that to the bigger picture of a pro career, consistent success on the Challenger Tour is the definitive sign a player is ready for the next level. His first ATP semifinal came at Eastbourne in June 2022. He beat guys like Schwartzman there. Same year, he got his first Grand Slam match win at Wimbledon, a big milestone for any player, especially a Brit at home.
Huge moment.
These were important foundational steps. But then came a truly defining moment, a real leap. At the Canadian Open in Montreal, a Masters 1000 event, he delivered a stunning upset. Defeated the 3rd seed, world number 5 Stefanos Tsitsipas, in straight sets.
Wow, Tsitsipas, straight sets too.
It's his very first top 10 win. That's a massive psychological barrier to break for any rising player. It emphatically showed he belonged among the elite. Proved his game could stand up against the very best. That win pushed him to his first Masters 1000 quarterfinal, which further confirmed his ability to perform consistently at that highest non-Grand Slam level, showed he could make deep runs. However, this impressive ascent wasn't without those persistent challenges, was it? He also reached the 3rd round of a major for the first time at the 2022 U.S. Open. Beat the 6th seed, world number 8, Felix Auger-Aliassime, straight sets again, another huge scalp.
He was taking down big names.
He really was. But then, that recurring theme emerged again. He was forced to retire in the 4th round against Karen Khachanov. So you see this mix, right? Significant breakthroughs followed by physical setbacks, retiring at crucial moments. It really emphasizes that tightrope top athletes walk between pushing their limits and managing their bodies to prevent injury. Despite these physical hurdles, though, his exceptional performances earned him qualification for the 2022 Next Generation ATP Finals. First Brit ever to qualify, reached the semis there. And he reached a new career-high ranking of number 45 that year, a massive leap from outside the top 200 at the start of the season. So the end of 2022, with its highs and lows, it definitely set him up for a potentially huge 2023. But unfortunately, that injury narrative just kept weaving its way through his journey.
Indeed. 2023 was... Well, it was a powerful testament to his undeniable talent, for sure, but also just a brutal, constant reminder of the sheer physical toll pro tennis takes. He started the year strong. Adelaide International 1 and 2. Even got some revenge on Khachanov, beating him to reach his 2nd ATP semi. But the real trial by fire for the season came next, his debut at the Australian Open. And who does he draw? Only the top seed, world number 2, defending champion, Rafael Nadal. Talk about a tough draw. The toughest. And he battled incredibly hard, pushed Rafa, one of the greatest ever, to 4 sets, despite visibly struggling with severe cramps through a lot of the match. Playing Nadal on Rod Laver Arena, Aussie Summer Heat, major debut. It's arguably the most intense experience a young player can face. A true test of physical and mental strength. Pushing it to 4 sets, and during the cramps, it just profoundly underscored the extreme physical demands of slam tennis. And maybe highlighted a need for even more robust conditioning or maybe better in-match recovery strategies at that point.
Possibly, yeah. He's incredibly demanding.
Despite the loss, though, that performance, watched by everyone, helped him reach a new career high of number 38. So the trajectory was still upward. But his grit, his fight, it really shone through at one of the biggest tournaments outside the slams later that spring.
Absolutely. His performance at Indian Wells in March 2023 was incredibly telling. That tournament, the 5th major as they call it, huge scale, strongest field, a real test. And in his debut there, he defeated 2 compatriots, established, respected guys, Dan Evans and former world number 1 Andy Murray.
Beating Murray must have been huge for him.
Monumental. And both in straight sets, just incredibly significant wins, showing his growing class, dominating against seasoned British stars. It wasn't just winning, it was the way he won, however. Just as he was building this incredible momentum, asserting himself on this huge stage, his journey got cut short again, forced to retire from his fourth-round match against the top seed, world number 2, eventual champion Carlos Alcaraz, due to an abdominal muscle injury.
Not again, that pattern.
Exactly. That pattern of deep runs followed by injury retirements. He then wisely withdrew from Miami to prevent further injury. A sign of maturing, maybe? Understanding the long game.
You have to think long-term at that level.
You do. It powerfully highlights that critical challenge for young players. Balancing peak performance with injury prevention, smart physical management, it's that constant tightrope, can define or derail a career. And later that year, the injury woes continued. Made his French Open debut, but retired in the first round. Shoulder injury this time. And that forced him to miss the entire grass season.
Oh, missing grass, including Wimbledon. That's a massive blow for a British player.
Huge. Emotionally, ranking points, everything. It takes immense mental strength, patience, determination to recover, rehab, rebuild that physical and competitive readiness. But despite these significant demoralizing setbacks, his return at the U.S. Open later that year showed that unwavering determination again. And incredibly, it set the stage for a strong finish to 2023.
And he really did bounce back impressively at the U.S. Open later that year. Showed that even after a long layoff, those serious injuries, his game was still sharp enough to compete right at the top. Reached the second week, the fourth round. Remarkable, really, given the circumstances. And then, as if to prove his resilience wasn't just a one-off, he made history again. Sofia Open, November 2023. Ranked number 82 at the time, he reached his first career ATP Tour final.
From 82 in the world, that's punching above his weight.
Definitely. He beat Jan-Lennard Struff in the semis, showed he could overcome tough opponents even when not at his highest ranking. And this achievement, especially considering the injury-riddled year, his lower ranking, it just underscores his inherent talent, his profound mental toughness, and the historical significance for British tennis. He became the youngest Brit to reach an ATP final since Andy Murray way back in 2009 in Miami.
There's that Murray comparison again. It really puts his achievements into context.
Absolutely. Emphasizes his historical significance, signals his potential, not just to compete, but to actually win titles. Okay, he lost the final in a tight 3-setter to Adrian Mannarino, but just reaching that final was a clear sign of his potential, his fighting spirit, proved he could contend. So, with the tough lessons of 2023 surely etched in his mind, the stage was set for a truly remarkable surge in 2024 and 2025. All right, let's talk about this incredible leap he made in 2024 and 2025. This period wasn't just about competing. It was about winning big titles, ascending to the absolute highest levels of the sport. It really started to click, didn't it? Started 2024 reaching his second career final, Adelaide International in January. Lost to Lehecka in 3 sets, but still another final. And despite another unfortunate retirement due to injury against Deminar in his first ATP 500 semi in Acapulco.
Seems like those physical challenges were still there.
There were. But the consistency in reaching finals, semifinals, even with that retirement, it showed sustained high-level play. This was definitely the period where he transitioned from just promising talent to a genuine contender, consistently pushing, often beating top players, moved to a new career high of 37 in March 2024. But the real breakthrough, that moment he finally lifted his first ATP Tour title that came on the grass courts.
This is truly where we see the payoff, isn't it? From all that perseverance, all that hard work, building his game and his body back up. His maiden ATP Tour title came at the Stuttgart Open, June 2024. He beat Matteo Berrettini in the final, a strong, respected grass quarter, became the 8th first-time ATP champion that year.
Getting that first title under your belt must be huge psychologically.
Enormous, clears a massive hurdle, signals you're a champion, you can close out tournaments. And he didn't just win, he immediately followed it up with an even bigger statement the very next week. Queen's Club. Prestigious grass event. There, he stunned the top seed, defending champion Carlos Alcaraz, world number 2 at the time, reigning Wimbledon champ, straight sets.
Beating Alcaraz at Queen's, where he's a defending champ.
Wow. It wasn't just confidence, it was tactical brilliance. Draper, with that lefty game, he really exploited Alcaraz's slightly weaker backhand. hit into it consistently, forced errors, showed how he could adapt his aggressive style to dismantle the elite.
Smart tennis.
Very smart. That victory pushed him into the top 30 and crucially solidified his position as British #1, career high 31 on June 17th. This wasn't just winning a match, it was a resounding signal of elite capability, showed he could challenge and beat the very best. Now, Wimbledon 2024 didn't quite go to plan, lost to Mori in the second round, but what happened at the U.S. Open later that year? Truly monumental. Unforgettable.
No, the 2024 U.S. Open, that was absolutely the stuff of dreams for him, wasn't it? A Grand Slam semifinal, just an incredible, dominant run. He reached his first major semi without dropping a single set until that semifinal match itself.
That level of dominance in a slam through multiple rounds, especially at the U.S. Open with its tough conditions, incredibly rare. Speaks volumes about its focus, control, physical prep.
Totally. In the quarterfinals, he delivered this commanding performance. Defeated the 10th seed, Alex de Minaur, straight sets, showed his growing authority. And this victory cemented his place in British tennis history. Became the first British man to reach the U.S. Open last 4 since Andy Murray's run back in 2012.
Again, that Murray benchmark puts him in incredibly elite company.
It really does. Reaching a slam semi is the ultimate validation, isn't it? Fruit of years of hard work, performing under the most intense pressure. That journey, without dropping a set, as you said, just speaks volumes about his dominance that fortnight, how comprehensively he was outplaying guys. Ultimately, yeah, he lost to the world #1, Jannik Sinner, in the semi. But his performance left zero doubt about his major championship potential. And that wasn't his only major title in 2024, was it? He kept the winning ways going, this time at the ATP 500 level.
He certainly did. Capitalized on that momentum beautifully. Showed he could translate Grand Slam performance into consistent, high-level tour success. Returned to court in October 2024, Vienna Open, an ATP 500 event. And he won his first ATP 500 title there. Beat Karen Khachanov in the final, straight sets. Showcased that growing confidence, composure, performing under pressure.
So winning a 500, that's a step up from the 250s, right?
Yeah.
Deeper field.
Definitely. It signifies consistency against a stronger, deeper field. Think of it as proving you can consistently beat top-tier players week in, week out, not just occasionally. It's a key stepping stone, a mini-major almost, before you tackle the Masters 1000s. Now, this was another significant step up the ladder, further solidifying his position among the top players. And as a direct result, he was propelled into the top 15. Made his debut at number 15, October 28, 2024. Marked him as a consistent threat, not just an occasional giant killer, someone who could regularly go deep and win titles. So, as we moved into 2025, despite a few early season injury concerns, again, he achieved arguably his most significant title yet, one that truly catapulted him into the real elite of the sport.
Yeah, 2025 has seen him reach just new stratospheric heights. Okay, there were some early season injury issues, had to withdraw from the United Cup, hip injury, and frustratingly had to retire from his Aussie Open 4th round against Alcaraz again.
That must have been incredibly frustrating for him.
Had to be. But then just a few months later, this massive breakthrough. Indian Wells, as you know, one of the biggest tournaments all year, the 5th major. Scale, facilities, quality of the field, everyone's there. To win that, especially beating the guys he beat, just phenomenal. In his dominant run, he took down not one, but 2 top 5 players. First, world #4 Taylor Fritz, thrilling 4th rounder. Then, in a truly stunning semi, he beat world #3 Carlos Alcaraz, former world #1, multiple slam champ. Showed his growing mastery over the very best.
Getting that Alcaraz win finally in such a big match. Huge.
Massive. And then he sealed the deal. Beat Holger Rune in the final to win his first ever ATP Masters 1000 title. Winning a Masters 1000, especially beating multiple top 5 guys, including a former world #1. That's not just a win. It's a profound career-defining moment. It's a statement, isn't it? That he belongs right at the absolute pinnacle, capable of winning the biggest titles outside the slams. And the results of that win, plus continued strong performances, they've fundamentally reshaped his place in tennis history.
It's truly remarkable. Speaks to that sustained upward progress, sheer consistency at the highest level, following that Indian Wells triumph and a strong showing, reaching his first clay court semi in Madrid. He sealed the coveted world #5 spot, May 5, 2025.
Top 5 in the world. Incredible.
It places him in this incredibly exclusive club in British tennis history. Just the 4th British man to reach the top 5 since the ATP rankings began back in '73. He's up there with former world #1 Andy Murray, #4 Tim Henman, #4 Greg Rusedski.
Wow, Henman, Rusedski, Murray. Legendary company.
It really is. Reaching the top 5 is incredibly rare for any player, let alone a British one, given how global and competitive the sport is. It puts him right alongside the most iconic, successful figures in British tennis, highlights the immense significance of his achievements, and furthermore, at just 23 years, 121 days old, by making that Madrid final, he became the youngest British man in the Open era to reach ATP finals on all 3 surfaces: clay, grass, hard court.
That versatility is key, isn't it? Clay, grass, hard.
Absolutely. Shows remarkable adaptability, a hallmark of truly great players who perform anywhere. And to top it off, he also notched his 100th career win at the Italian Open, a significant milestone. Shows a solid body of work already and suggests that professional longevity. So beyond the titles, the rankings, understanding his unique playing style and who he is off-court gives us that even fuller picture.
Right, so we've charted this incredible rise.
Right.
What exactly makes his game so effective? What's his sort of secret weapon on court that lets him dismantle elite opponents? His style is described as aggressive all around, meaning he's not just relying on one shot, right? He's looking to dictate points from anywhere, push opponents back.
Active, not reactive.
Exactly. And a key part is his exceptionally strong serve, a fundamental weapon in today's game. Wins easy points, sets up attacks. But here's that truly fascinating, unique quirk. He's naturally right-handed, but plays tennis left-handed.
Which is quite unusual at the top level.
Very unusual. And it fundamentally shapes his game. It essentially makes his backhand, as they say, a second forehand. For most players, the backhand is maybe the weaker wing, something to protect. But for him, it's an offensive weapon. Allows him to generate huge power, topspin, depth from both sides, puts constant pressure on.
Takes away a potential weakness and turns it into a strength.
Precisely. Plus, he mixes up his serve really well. Slices, flat serves, keeps opponents guessing on the return, stops them finding rhythm. And then there's the forehand. It's been explicitly compared to Nadal's forehand in its topspin, pace, consistency.
Oh, that's about the highest praise you can get for a forehand.
Huge compliment, right? Highlights his power and reliability from that crucial wing. And playing lefties at natural righty. It's not just a curiosity, is it? It seems like a strategic advantage. Imagine facing that serve from an unfamiliar angle, or forehand ripping cross-court with spin that feels alien to righties.
It forces opponents out of their comfort zones, disrupts rhythm, leads to errors. It's a distinct competitive edge.
Yeah, that unpredictable edge isn't just surprise, it actively forces adjustments. And of course, behind every great player is a dedicated team. His coaching journey tells its own story of development, adaptation, building that crucial support system.
You're right, that combination aggression, versatility, unique left-handed play, that powerful forehand makes him a truly formidable opponent. That handedness undoubtedly provides different angles, disrupts opponents used to conventional play, and his coaching journey, yeah, it powerfully reflects that evolving support system, typical for athletes climbing the ranks. Initially coached by Justin Schering, 2007-2017, foundational decade. Then Ryan Jones, 2017-2021, guided him through juniors, early pro transition. Since 2021, coached by James Trotman at the National Tennis Center, part of the LTA's elite support program. Shows that progression to specialized high-performance setups.
Adapting the team as his level rises.
Exactly. And in 2023, clearly recognizing those physical demands, the injury challenges, he strategically hired a dedicated fitness coach, Dejan Vojtovic. In May 2024, brought on technical coach Wayne Ferreira, former top player himself, though they split 4 months later before the U.S. Open.
Interesting. That was quite short.
Yeah, the evolution of the team, including specialized fitness, technical coaches, it reflects the increasing intensity, the specific demands of the tour, that targeted, individualized development needed at the top. That short stint with Ferreira might suggest specific tactical adjustments, or maybe just searching for that precise philosophical or personality fit, which is so crucial in a core team. It highlights that constant calibration, adaptation that goes into building and refining a world-class support system around an elite athlete. And beyond the court, his personal life reveals a surprisingly maybe grounded individual, deep ties to the sport despite the fame and pressure.
Yeah, it's absolutely crucial to look beyond the court, isn't it? Understand who he is as a person, how he navigates the immense pressures, the opportunities that come with being a top pro athlete. So what does the material tell us about him off court? As of 2023, estimated wealth of $3 million, which, okay, substantial for someone young, but also illustrates the significant financial opportunities that open up with success. Prize money, endorsements.
Big business at the top.
For sure. Speaking of endorsements, he secured deals with major global brands. Dunlop, Nike, Vodafone underscores his rising profile, marketability as an athlete and a public figure. And in a unique family twist, his brother, Ben Draper, is actually his agent. For IMG Tennis WME Sports, a huge agency.
Having family involved like that can be a double-edged sword, but potentially offers huge trust.
Exactly. That direct family involvement, brother is agent, could offer a unique level of trust, direct communication, unwavering support may be harder to find externally. A very close-knit professional and personal setup. Outside tennis, he seems pretty normal for a young adult, considering his extraordinary career. Supports Manchester United FC, enjoys rap and grime music, gives us a glimpse into his personal tastes, how he maybe unwinds.
Grounds him a bit.
Yeah. As of 2024, shares a flat with fellow British player Paul Jubb. Cam Norrie is a regular training partner. These details paint a picture of a well-rounded athlete, also building a strong personal and professional network within that close tennis community. His interests outside tennis show a typical young man, an important grounding force amidst the intense pressure, the relentless demands of pro sports. So, considering everything we've just covered, what can we really take away from this incredible journey? What's the bigger picture here for us, the learners, beyond just the sport itself?
That's the key question, isn't it? What can we distill from Jack Draper's journey that goes beyond tennis, offers broader insights for anyone pursuing excellence in a tough field? Firstly, I think it's a powerful narrative of relentless resilience. Resilience in the face of persistent adversity, physical setbacks. From that early heat illness collapse to recurring abdominal shoulder injuries forcing him out of big moments, he repeatedly came back. Not just back, but stronger, more determined. This emphasizes the critical, absolutely non-negotiable role of physical and just as vital mental recovery in elite performance. It really challenges that idea that you need a smooth, injury-free path to greatness. Instead, it highlights how much of success is just showing up consistently, even after the most demoralizing setbacks. And it underscores the absolute importance of an integrated, multidisciplinary support team, not just for performance, but equally for recovery rehab.
And building on that resilience point, it's also a clear demonstration of consistent, measured progression. Strategic development. He didn't just burst onto the scene right at the very top, did he? Instantly winning slams or masters. His ascent has been this meticulously climbed ladder, step by step. From junior slam finals to dominating the Challenger Tour, which is a whole career for many guys.
Absolutely. A huge achievement in itself.
Then transitioning to getting those first ATP Tour wins, making Masters breakthroughs, finally reaching Slam semis, winning a Masters 1000. It absolutely wasn't overnight success. It was deliberate, gradual, hard-fought, patiently building his game, his ranking. This journey vividly showcases the immense value of building that strong foundation at each level before tackling the next. What lessons does that hold for anyone aiming for the top in their field, whatever it is? It suggests that enduring, sustainable success often comes from mastering each stage, consolidating skills, confidence, getting the experience before taking on bigger challenges, rather than jumping too soon and risking burnout or failure.
You've hit on a crucial point there. And this remarkable progression, it's further enabled by, and really inseparable from, the indispensable role of a comprehensive support system, the evolution of his coaching team from early development coaches to specialized high-performance coaches like Trotman, strategically adding specialized fitness technical coaches, and that profound close family involvement. It fundamentally underlines that individual brilliance in any high-stakes field is almost always a dedicated team effort. No exceptions.
It really takes a village, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's never just one coach. It's a multifaceted team addressing diverse aspects: performance, well-being, logistics. This raises an important question for all of us, doesn't it? How do we identify and build the most effective, synergistic support networks in our own pursuits? Whether professional, athletic, personal, it's about recognizing that sustained peak performance needs a holistic approach. Physical, mental, logistical support from a diverse, dedicated, adaptable team.
And finally, his unique playing style, particularly being a natural righty who plays lefty. It makes you genuinely wonder about the profound advantages of maybe unconventional approaches, leveraging unique strengths. His powerful, Nadal-esque forehand, his versatile serve. They make him truly unpredictable, challenging on court. So what does this all mean for those looking to stand out, find a distinct competitive edge in a fierce field, especially when established methods seem to dominate?
Does his style contribute because it offers a different challenge, disrupts usual rhythms, expectations?
It encourages us to think beyond conventional wisdom, doesn't it? To rigorously consider how individual strengths, even seemingly quirky or unconventional ones, can be strategically identified, developed, then powerfully leveraged for competitive advantage. It's about leaning into what makes you unique, maybe, rather than trying to force yourself into some predefined mold. This blend of individual distinctiveness and team-supported development is truly fascinating to watch unfold.
If we connect all this to the bigger picture, Jack Draper's journey from promising junior to top 5 professional offers this compelling case study in modern athleticism. It's a powerful blend. Inherited talent, incredibly disciplined, strategic training, astute team building, and that almost superhuman, relentless resilience against setbacks.
Yep.
His remarkable ability to adapt, to recover, and to consistently elevate his game, especially with those key defining wins over top-ranked opponents, that truly defines his extraordinary ascent.
Precisely. His path really highlights that true success isn't just about avoiding the falls, the setbacks. It's much more about how quickly, how powerfully you can pick yourself back up, strategically adapt your approach, and then surge forward with renewed determination. You've now gained, hopefully, a deep understanding of what it genuinely means to climb the ranks in a fiercely competitive global sport like pro tennis. So what stands out most powerfully to you from his incredible journey? What personal aha moment did you find in this deep dive that maybe resonates with your own pursuits?